industrial-level shit. So, now all the frames were sporting half-ripped, made-in-China labels, which was worse, because now everyone would know not only were we using cheap frames, but that we'd tried to hide they were cheap frames. Obviously, the sensible thing to do was cover up the cover-up by sticking table confetti on the labels. "Moti, it's a big day for Isabel. You know we can't have Dolly creating a scene. Stop fiddling around with that and come watch your mother." "Yes, Rachel Auntie." I plopped the place card holder on the table and followed her. I was 24 years old, but when your elders asked you to do something, you dropped everything and saw it through. A sense of duty was drilled into my DNA. It was my job to look after my mother. If you looked at a family closely enough, you'd see that everyone had a job. There were the bosser-arounders and bossed-arounders, war-makers and bread-bakers, promise-keepers and promise-breakers. When you did something enough times, you got a label so everyone else knew what to expect. "God, Moti, don't go to him for a car loan. He's a penny pincher." Or, "God, Moti, don't ask her for a loan. She's a helper hitter. She'll help you out and then hit you over the head with it for the rest of your life." Labels made life easier for everyone. I was all about labels, and mine read Mother Minder, meaning I had to mind my mother, Dolly, at family get-togethers. You see, Dolly liked to play dead, usually at the most inopportune times. It started off innocently enough when our neighbor, Shulin, called me at work one afternoon. Her name is really Shulin, or maybe Sulin, but in my head she was Shulin, because Dolly was always trying to shoo her out of our apartment. On that particular day, my mother pretended to fall asleep to get Shulin to leave. It was almost time for her favorite Indian soap opera, and she couldn't be bothered to make tea or small talk. Shulin panicked at Dolly's unresponsiveness and called me. "Moti, you need to come home quick. Your mother, she passed away." She meant my mother had passed out, but things get lost in translation, and who could blame her? I dropped everything and arrived in record time, along with the paramedics and all the stay-at-home neighbors on our floor. I won't lie. My initial reaction to the news of my mother's demise was a jolt of relief. It was like telling the canary the cat was dead. Hallelujah! Followed promptly by a tidal wave of guilt. But then Dolly started coughing just as the paramedics were getting ready to resuscitate her. Suddenly, she was holding court, enthralling everyone with tales of her near-death experience. Over the next few weeks, she was invited to relate her personal account of heaven, which she did with great detail and animation. The episode fanned her flame for theatrics and crystallized into frequent crossing-over scenarios. Dolly loved the buzz, the attention, the stir it created. No one knew just how many air miles she'd racked up with all her trips to the afterlife, except for Rachel Auntie and me, although I had a feeling Rachel Auntie must have shared with her husband. Joseph Uncle looked relieved as we approached. "Ah, Moti, you'll keep Dolly and Nanny company. The guests have started arriving. Your aunt and I need to go greet them." "Of course." I took the seat he vacated between my mother and grandmother. "Did you see the cake?" Dolly tilted her head toward the multi-tiered construction of purple and white frosting. "It's like they're getting married. Who in their right mind?" "Ma!" I shot her a warning look. "Awful!"